Coming up, it's here. A personalized DNA test for your dog.
The DNA is being used for things that nobody could have ever imagined.
Welcome back. Meet Sophie. This cute canine doesn't care about much except for eating, playing, and laying around.
About 5 years ago, my daughter was 8 and asked for a dog, and it took us a year or so before we were in a good place to get one, but we finally went online and were able to find Sophie.
Sophie's owner was curious about her new pet. The dog was definitely a mutt, but what kind of breeds were mixed up in this playful little pooch?
People ask us questions about what Sophie looks like, and we really wondered for a long time because when we took her on walks, we got asked a lot, and then we would see parts of her in other types of dogs, and we knew she was a mix, so we always had that question.
A quick internet search revealed a way to get an answer. It turns out there are DNA tests for dogs.
DNA testing for dogs is a big deal, and it's increasing all the time. We test all around the world, and we notice that there's more and more people getting dogs that they do want a DNA test everywhere.
DNA My Dog is one of the many companies designed to bring science to the business of knowing more about our canine companions. There are a lot of reasons to do this. A purebred dog can cost thousands of dollars, and if you're going to spend that kind of money, science is the only way to make sure you're getting what you paid for.
Stay. There's people who buy dogs from what I call less reputable breeders, and it's certainly not something we support because you really don't know what you're getting. There can be a lot of health issues in there, and you're paying a lot of money, and you may not be getting the dog that you think you're getting.
Other pet owners, like Sophie's owner, are simply curious. They're not buying pure breeds, but they are interested in exactly what kind of dog they're bringing into their home.
You may have a dog that you think is a Labrador Retriever and you're trying to train it, and then it turns out it's a boxer mix, and you can switch the way that you're training it and have huge results that way. And we get a lot of people who tell us that.
The dog owner reaches out to people at DNA My Dog. The company sends a kit. The dog is swapped, and the DNA is sent to an in-house laboratory for testing.
We have systems in place to make sure that if there is DNA missing or there is contamination, we can spot that.
You might find this surprising, but there's a giant DNA database with samples from hundreds of different breeds from all over the world. The database is basically a library of dog DNA.
One of the most common questions we get asked is how accurate are our tests? And if you follow the instructions that are provided in your kit and your dog is in our database, there's no reason why you can't get a result that's 99.99% accurate. And I should add that there's no such thing as a 100% accurate DNA test.
As we saw earlier, the results can prove whether or not a dog is purebred. And it can help with training a dog, because now owners know exactly what kind of dog they're dealing with. Perhaps most important, DNA can alert the owner to any potential health issues. Knowing the breed or breeds of your dog can help avoid a lot of problems.
DNA can help with very specific genetic disorders in a dog and help people to learn about those. I know some breeders use them to make sure that the dogs they're breeding have really good genes and that they're not going to continue breeding a dog that might have something wrong with it.
The inbox at DNA My Dog is always full. The business has thousands of clients from all over the world. It's only going to get bigger because there's lots of money in pets. I found this hard to believe, but America's pet population clocks in at more than 300 million. And we spend an astonishing $70 billion a year on them. Now, the introduction of affordable high-tech into this market is opening avenues few people expected even a decade ago.
It's certainly not something that someone's going to be able to do themselves at home, but we have a very reasonably priced test, so it's something that most people, if they can afford to have a dog, can afford to have this test.
As for Sophie, her results were a surprise. She may look like a Pomeranian, but evidence for that breed didn't even show up in her results.
when we finally got her tested, to our surprise, we found out she was mostly Lhasa Apso. I'm glad we did the DNA test. It's been great to kind of know her mix. It gave us some clues on her personality, and it was always a big question for us, so it was a nice little gift to ourselves to find out what her mix was.
Coming up,